Hello, everyone, and welcome. Okay, I'm experimenting with new volume levels right now because I'm trying to figure out what's going to work the best for the stream. And I'm trying to strike a balance between really good levels and really loud trucking. And I think I might have come up with a good level right now. I'm just going to double check the level by honking the horn just briefly. Okay, so I should still be able to talk over the noise in the sim, and that's fine. All right. Quick function test over, but we are actually streaming this afternoon. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. Happy to have you with me. I am Digi Driver, and we are streaming American Truck Sim today. I don't usually truck sim on a Sunday. And welcome aboard, Fuzzy Pickles. Very good to see you, my friend. God bless you. I am going to do some runs. I think I'm in Iowa still. Let me double check the map. Yes, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm on the eastern edge of Iowa, not that far away from Chicago, but Illinois hasn't been released yet. I have some decisions to make. I don't know where I want to go, so I'm going to go to the jobs menu real quick and figure out where to pick up a job. But Fuzzy Pickles, you are very welcome to come aboard, my friend. I'm happy to have you with me. I think I'm going to do just some basic freight market jobs that I don't have to go into World of Trucks to do. And I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to figure out where I haven't gone recently. Joplin is 8 hours and 21 minutes. So right now, this job is going to take me 3/4 of a 40-minute run, which is basically going to be 20, like a half an hour. Since I haven't made a Joplin yet, let's go ahead. We are taking, we're taking circuit breakers. Let's go. All right, good stuff. Welcome back. My one and only American truck, the Peterbilt. Stock parts, but custom setup. I think it's got somewhere between a 5 to 700 horsepower engine, and basically we're gonna go ahead and use this. And this thing likes to take off, so I'm gonna try to be careful and also try to obey the laws of the road. A little bit of trivia: last time I did a job and I came to this place, I had a trailer, and as I was crossing it, the railroad crossing lights came on. So, needless to say, I kept going. Thank you, Fuzzy Pickles. Mrs. Digi and I did have a very nice weekend. We chilled. We stayed home. Unfortunately, she wasn't feeling very well. So basically, I was I was doing my best to keep her comfortable. We did actually get a chance to get some food ordered in this afternoon because I went out to get it. Got her some clam chowder, and that fixed her up right as rain. And now she's just taking care of some stuff, doing some crafting, and we will see what comes of it. But at the same time, I'm happy that she is feeling a little bit better. All right, so we are on our way. We're going to pick up a job and drive out to Missouri, the far southeastern corner of it. And meanwhile, we are running free right now. We're not hauling any cargo yet because we have to get to our destination to haul cargo. But welcome aboard, everybody, and good afternoon to you. And you, and you, and you, and you as well. Oh, yeah, you in the back. Good afternoon. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend, is still having a good weekend, or is on their way to a great week if you are in the phase of this place where you are actually on vacation. I haven't actually gone on vacation in the middle of summer since I went to Alaska in 2023, but that was a wondrous time. I had never been, and I want to go back so bad. I flew into Fairbanks, and then we did a run down to Cantwell and Talkeetna before we finally arrived in Anchorage, to basically swap into a cruise ship to cruise down from Whittier, which is basically a kind of like sheltered bay surrounded by mountains, and then from Whittier to Vancouver. But believe me, Fuzzy Pickles, that was a vacation of just pure epicness. I had never been to Alaska, and I've never wanted to go back to a place like Alaska more in my life than I have now. It was amazing. It was pretty much like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, it was just out there because it literally was out there. But all joking aside, it was one of the best trips I ever took in terms of a vacation, like ever in my life. And the whole bit about Alaska is just the vast expanse of it. It's like, for example, the thing or the phrase that I'd heard for a long time was, everything's bigger in Texas, and Alaska's like, hey, hold my drink. So, for one, there aren't roads crisscrossing the entire state. For two, it has the highest number of pilot licenses per capita, and three, it it's just huge. Like, it's literally huge, and just like the old, what am I trying to say? Like the old TV show. It's Wild America. I mean, I got a tour of a couple of state parks, and one of the park rangers was walking around with like I don't know, a 10 or 12 gauge shotgun, and basically it's for personal defense against rowdier wildlife, like say bears, but at the same time, the one person that I talked to hasn't had to discharge it literally in years. So it's one of those things you take with you, clearly, but at the same time, I'm glad they haven't had to use it. And other stories like that. But it just makes me want to go back to a place like that. But of course, when you're on vacation, you're wearing rose-colored glasses, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Insert meme from your generation here. Like, you are enjoying yourself. If I had to live in Alaska, then I think there would be obviously an adjustment that I would have to make in terms of, like having to get a pilot's license just to fly, especially if the weather is as um, impactful as I think it is. You know, Big snowstorms, earthquakes. So it would definitely be an adventure living in Alaska, I'll give you that much. But don't think that Mrs. Digi and I haven't thought about doing that before, or continue to think about that. So believe me when I say it's been a thought process that we've thought about. But like I said, Alaska, amazing trip, amazing vacation. Summer, amazing time for vacation if you're going to a place where the weather's more temperate, or maybe you like going to somewhere where it's really hot, or you're going to go down the shore to the beach in the summer because that's what your family does, and that's just it. So, all good. You do you. The last couple of years, we've just been going from one end of the season to the other because, I mean, you guys already know this by far. Mrs. Digi and I are way more temperate season people, and particularly temperate to cold season people. We like fall, and we definitely like winter. I like how when you start getting into the period in the fall when it starts to get colder and colder, I'm a big fan of the very first day you have to turn on the heater, and you kind of you kind of cook off the dust from the you cook off the dust from the registers or the radiators or whatever you call them, and essentially you just like reintroduce yourself to warm air coming from your HVAC instead of cold air. And I like the first time that you actually, see snow, or the first time that you actually like have a cup of hot chocolate, or in my case, my first pumpkin spice latte or something like that. Because I'm into stuff like that. Oh, excuse me. Hang on. Gotta check my boy because he is chomping on some plastic. Stand by one. Okay, I'm back. Had to separate it from some plastic. I don't know what it is with cats. Some cats have like an obsession with plastic, and I think it's just the consistency, or the the therapy, or whatever you want to call it. Um, I guess it's like what they like, chewing on. But we're back. At least I hope we are. Let me check. Okay, we should be fine. Sorry about that. All right. So, my friends are here with, and we are well on our way. The crinkle of plastic and paper. There we go. I do think it's an audio thing for them, but I also think, he likes to be able to chew on it. Maybe maybe it's kind of like, to him, the version of like when we chew, gum after eating, to like almost like get our body to clean its teeth on its own. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going down the rabbit hole of cat teeth hygiene, but whatever. It's a thing. Um, I know he likes chewing plastic. That is all. With that said, we are well on our way to potentially our first of one or two destinations, and we're going to see where it takes us. Oh, we sometimes get them. We do tend to get them like big, like cardboard, like tools or displays, and basically what happens is they tear into it or to scratch it up, which is good. I mean, it's what they're supposed to do. That's why they're there for, so they can rip up like the cardboard boxes, and not like, say, our couches or like our chairs, because they cut into their not cut into. They like to keep their nails sharp, or at least they like to work on their nails, which is why they do what they do. Hey, Crafton, welcome aboard, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you're doing very well, and hope your afternoon and your weekend is okay. Well, I mean, okay, forgive me. Digigeography is almost always confused. To my friends that are overseas, and it is Monday morning, good morning. If you are, like in Sydney, in Tokyo, in Singapore, good morning. If you are still here in the East Coast, good evening. I'm always like getting that stuff confused. So again, my apologies in advance. But Craft and Fur, it is very good to see you. Welcome aboard. Good afternoon to you. I am doing some trucking in ATS, and I am on my way to Joplin, Missouri, because we're delivering some circuit breakers on the back of this trailer, which I'm hauling. I don't have my own custom trailer yet, although I could easily buy one. Um, I I'm doing like freight career right now. Did that sign just say St. John's? Interesting. I am taking it one on ramp at a time, Crafton. Very good to see you. Oh, uni meeting. Oh, okay. I'm all the better for having you here, my friend. Lurk or do whatever it is you have to do, so don't worry about me. But at the same time, very happy to have you with us. We are in ATS, and I'm going to enjoy myself for a little bit. Mrs. Digi said, "Hey, I think I want to do some crafting. Why don't you go ahead and like say hi to your friends and stream?" So that's where I am right now, streaming with all of y'all. The most dull and pointless meeting. I've felt like I've had those in my life in the past at certain opportune times or in opportune times. You know, those things happen when I do work IRL. It's the epitome of this meeting could have been an email. Yikes. Um, Sorry to hear that. With that said, I just felt kind of like getting out on the open road and unloading for a little bit. I am coming up on a couple of interviews soon for potentially new positions. I'm also coming up on, again, fall, September, like all of us are, but at the same time, us us uh, us North Hemisphere people are going to start getting colder and colder temperatures, and you Southern Hemisphere people are going to start getting warmer and warmer temperatures, and y'all are going to have longer days, and we're going to have shorter ones. And I'm looking forward to things getting cold, things getting inviting back at home, and I'm looking forward to enjoying the cold breeze and the warm home and the quieter sounds of my HVAC system, not so blaring loud like when I run the AC during the summer. You don't want it to get hotter. Oh, my my apologies. Mm. And to be honest, I'll be transparent with you. When when Christmas is over and when we start getting to the point when January starts melting into February and and it starts to get lighter and lighter out and it starts to get warmer and warmer, a part of me is like, oh man, like the the allure of the cold season is coming to an end. Now, okay, like I'll be realistic about that too. It's like, okay, you know what? I don't like that it's getting warmer, but it's gonna be nice to not like be bundled up all the time. It's gonna be nice to step out and have like the warm sun hit you and heat you up. It's gonna be nice to see color on the trees again. I like that, but I mean, I'm also huge, huge, big time on looking forward to when the trees when the leaves on the trees start changing colors, because it means that Christmas is on the calendar horizon. It means that we're gonna be meeting with family and friends, and we're gonna be eating like good desserts and sharing like holiday meals. I like living in places that experience multiple seasons. If I lived in a place like, for example, let's just go ahead and say St. Bart's, for example, I'd be in a warm tropical climate all the time. While it's not impossible for a place like that to get not inclement weather. While it's not impossible for a place like St. Bart's to get colder weather, it's not going to be cold and snowy unless there's a major issue with, weather patterns. So me living mid-Atlantic in the US, where I do, it's nice to be able to experience the seasons as they come and go, because that's the kind of person that I am. using all the space that I can on the highway. Clearly, but that's the kind of like contrast or seasonal swing that I like. I like being able to go from one place to another to another to another in terms of seasons, in terms of temperatures. But I also like cold temperature as well. So that's exactly where I find myself. Hey, stand by one. Let me go ahead and close the door real quick. I'm back. Crafted, I just saw your comment. Um, are there any, and I mean any, parts of Australia that get snow at all? Like the north, the south, like the extreme south? Does Tasmania get anything approaching winter? Or is it only like when you head to New Zealand that happens? Because I'd be curious to find out. Okay, okay, so Tasmania gets it, and a lot of the mountains do. Okay, all right. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Okay, we are well on our way, and actually, we're clicking off the miles really fast. Yeah, like I said, this first trip's going to be like about a half an hour. There might be a second. It's probably going to be a shorter run if I can help it, and we'll see what happens. Mrs. Digi is probably going to be crafting for a little while at least, so I don't think it's going to be impossible for us to do a second job. But if it's going to be a really short job, or if she comes in and she's absolutely exhausted and she needs my help, then this will probably be the only one. Okay, okay. So, let me think. Oh, Queensland. Okay, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. I'm gonna have to look that up on the map now. That's pretty cool. I might do some offline flights during the week, depending on how much scenery dev I get done. I am trying to swing my schedule back towards more scenery development on weeknights, no audio streams, so that basically I just like share what I'm doing or building. I made some progress on the FBO at Mayfield Graves County Airport, which I'm looking forward to adding some more details into and then eventually finishing. And I'm also getting some ideas for some new or some upcoming projects to do or to try to do. So I am looking forward to seeing what happens. Ooh, that's interesting. Look at that. How they put those thingies up on the road. That's pretty cool. Ooh, look at those bridges. So nice. This is why I like driving an American Truck Simulator, because the landscape really reminds me of what some of the places that I've been to IRL are. So looking at bridges like that remind me of places I've been to. Like, for example, I have been to New York City, for example. When you drive out of New York City and you head west, there's this road that you can take out of Midtown. You take the Lincoln Tunnel and then you hop on 495. Now, you can either go down the turnpike or you can go down US route 1 and 9, and eventually you get to this really weird bridge that goes to Newark called the Pulaski Skyway. And it's a really big, really high up metal bridge, kind of like the bridge we just drove through. But I 78 also has a bridge like that. But the Pulaski Skyway is just this huge monster. So roads like this, bridges like that, they make me They make me remember roads that I used to drive on years ago, like years ago. I guess that's why I keep coming back to American Truck Simulator and why I keep buying the map expansions, because we're getting closer and closer to the mid-Atlantic states, and we're actually, this just hit me. We're getting closer and closer to me streaming American Truck Simulator and me talking way more about the roads that I've been on in real life. So there's going to be a little bit of art meets life as SCS goes further and further east. I don't know which state is going to be the first to touch the Atlantic Ocean. My theory is it's going to be Florida, but who knows? It could be, South Carolina. It could be Georgia. It could be anything depending on how they're going to cover the rest of the states. And assuming each state is going to take them roughly 12 to 14 months to do, it may be another 5, 6 years until like anything approaching the Atlantic Ocean is finally realized. So Fuzzy Pickles gets that for the Northwest. So with the map expansions that you have already purchased, it's already paying dividends for you in terms of like nostalgia and enjoyment, because you are you're driving through places and you're seeing how they use artistic license to compress the map, still kind of showing you the places in the corners that not all of them because it's not a one-to-one scale. It'd be interesting to get into Tennessee. It will be interesting to get into the rest of the Midwest and see what they do with like Tennessee, Kentucky, places like that. I'm really looking forward to it because sheesh, what I've had this sim in various forms since literally, well, okay, I think American Truck Sim released in 2017 or 2018. So I've had it since then. But I've been, doing American Truck Sim and stuff. I'm sorry, Euro Truck Sim since like, late 2014. So trucking has been something that I've used oftentimes as a means of just mellowing out. I don't have to be streaming. I don't have to do any huge job. It could just be a quick run, just to chill my mind. Kind of like in the old days when gas was like less than $2 a gallon. You could fill up and just drive, go somewhere, and 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 mellow out, and then come back home and be like, man, that was a good drive. I feel better. I mean, some people can do that. If you've got the money and you do that, I'm not judging you. Yeah, I like driving. Believe me, I do like driving. As much as I like hopping into my passenger vehicle, not going to give it away. As much as I like hopping into my passenger vehicle, I there is something so nice and rewarding about driving a tractor trailer and delivering cargo. And I will tell you, they are planning a road trip downloadable content pack where you could drive a pickup truck or a Ford Mustang. And I think I'm going to enjoy that a little bit. But at the same time, I wonder if it's going to take away from the experience. Ooh, motorcycles, nice. Hey, Lyles, welcome aboard, my friend. Very happy to have you. Folks, just a quick commercial break. If you have not seen my friends Fuzzy Pickles or um, Lyles on stream, please give them a follow. They come Digi recommended, and they are a part of my extended community, friends to the channel. And by all means, please tell them Digi sent you when you go check them out. But thank you for paying attention. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And just like that, we're like a little less than 2.5 hours out from delivering our first load, sim time. Oh, yeah, driving costs money. Yeah, yeah. Insurance, fuel, behaving. Otherwise, fines. Yeah, yeah. It definitely costs money. So I wouldn't be surprised that all of us have like a kind of, we have mixed feelings about it. But I definitely still like driving for more for the destination aspect of things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, Even just to go down the street to get something to eat and come back home, I like it. Um, when it's hot and the AC finally kicks in, it feels great. When it's cold and the heater finally kicks in, it's great. Um, that's me. That's me. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm a big fan of, like hatchbacks. Anything sporty. Anything sporty with the exception of extremely sporty sport utility vehicles. Oops. I can't go that way. Looks like I'm gonna have to detour. They're either working on construction or they're doing something. So we'll figure it out. That is what they call a random event. Dream car. Dream car. Well, let me think. I mean, there are a couple of categories. I'll give you two. One of them is import muscle. I would either jump at the chance to own a R32 Skyline in GTR form with like, all-wheel drive, or what they call, like, I think it's called super high steering or whatever you want to call it, or a Subaru WRX STI. There was a time when I played Gran Turismo and I saw this incredible screenshot of cars driving on a racetrack. There was an Acura NSX, um, probably like a Viper, and the Subaru station wagon. And I'm like, who in their right mind races a station wagon? And it turned out to be like a turbocharged Subaru wagon. And I'm like, my goodness, I had to learn more about them. So I was impressed. Ever driven one of those on a shoulder? Are you talking about? Wait, I'm, I may be missing some context, but if we're talking about driving one of the cars that I'd like to own, I've never actually driven one of them. The closest actually came to the event in the game. Uh, I can't say that I have. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yours is a BMW M3 Touring. Ooh. M3s are nice. M3s are nice. At least, okay. When I was in, when when I was, good gravy. When it was like the late 90s, the M series cars I really liked. Even like the early aughts, the early 2000s, the M3 and the M5 looked cool. I'm a fan of like older styling for European cars like BMWs. But I mean, they'll probably come back around to a point where I like them a whole bunch. I think if I was going to buy a European car right now, I would probably be hard pressed not to buy a BMW or an Alfa Romeo. I probably wouldn't buy a Jaguar. I think I like those two. If it was a Japanese import, it would probably either be Subaru or Acura. If I could afford an Acura. If I couldn't afford an Acura, probably be a Honda. Or or I think, and I say this with some reservation, probably a Hyundai. The like Hyundai has really turned itself into, like a an up and coming brand, if you will. Well, I like the Jaguar F-Pace, like the sporty SUV, and I like the F-Type, the at least the one from like 5 or 6 years ago. It's like I said, there's certain things that I'm not a humongous fan of in terms of styling, and I would probably say. There's certain styles that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not saying they're horrible. I'm just saying, it's not my cup of tea. So some people are gonna be like, you like anything Porsche? Like, have you not like stopped to look at them? They're just not the same they used to be. And that's the thing about opinions. They're free, and everybody gets to have one. So you don't like them? Superb, great. Like that means you are making a decision for yourself, and I fully support that. Cargo Fire, hello, my friend. Digi's car brand tier list. All right, all right. We're gonna get into this? Here we go. Here we go. Here's my tier list. We're gonna go from the bottom, and we're gonna go up. So everything from like, okay, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna go C tier, B tier, A tier, garage tier. So, C tier is everything that I look at and I'm like, not for me, not interested. And of course, a big fat disclaimer. This is my tier list. My flame suit is on. Throw all the flame at me you want. This is just me going over stuff. So, and it's paid for. Nice. Okay. So now I understand. C tier. Um most of the stuff from Chevy. I think the oddball exception would probably be like an LS1 Camaro, or like some of the sporty crossovers, like maybe a Blazer. I'm not a pickup truck person. I guess I would drive one if somebody gave me the keys to it, but they don't interest me as much. So Chevy. And if I wanted to throw another brand in the C tier, it would probably be again most of Ford. I'm not a big fan of the Bronco. I'll drive an SUV, but I'm not a big fan of the SUV segment. Now, crossovers, yes. Everything from like a slightly lifted station wagon on down is something that I appreciate. But I would say starting there. Oh, okay. Hey, rock on for the SUVs then. Welcome aboard, Kev. And of course, folks, if you don't know my friends, Cargo Fire and uh, Kev McWa, you want to give them a follow. Great friends of the channel, and definitely folks that come Digi recommended. Sedan guy yourself. Okay, great, great. I do like me the occasional sporty sedan. Hey, thanks for giving out that shout out. Jeeps are your favorite. Nice. I'm guessing that Jeeps and Jeep SUVs are still ladder on frame. At least the Jeep Wranglers, the Renegades, stuff like that. So I'll give you points for that. Jeeps are amazing in terms of off-road worthiness. In terms of, and you're welcome, Kev. Stand by while I go ahead and drop this load off. How you doing? Are you still cranking? Okay. All right. Love you, sweetie. I think I'm going to go ahead and just dump the cargo because I'm just going to focus right on the next run. All right. So we are level 32 right now. Let's see what we can actually take. Ooh. Fort Stockton, anyone? Wow. Been a while since I hit up Texas, and since Mrs. Digi is deep in the middle of what she's doing, let's go ahead and extend and take the next job immediately. So, the truck is over that way. Let's go check it out. Newest Jeeps look ugly though. Have you seen them? They look like plastic cubes. Going for the long haul. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So, when I saw, I forget when it was that I saw or actually got to see, like the the long or the stretched Jeeps, the Jeep Wranglers that basically had like the passenger compartment and then the trailer bed. I like those. I was a fan of the Jeep Grand Cherokees. I still am to a point. I wasn't as much a fan of the Jeep Compass or the what was it? What was the other crossover? I think it was either called it wasn't called the Renegade, it was something else. Class FG's Stellas are no no. Oh, okay, Stellantis. A Liberty, thank you. Thank you. So the Jeep Liberty. Yes. That was the kind of like Jeepette, like not even not Jeepette, like the civil Jeep. The one that basically had like street cred and basically was more of a you're gonna take your business on the on out on the open road. So yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was a fan of Jeeps back when they had like the Wagoneer, the original like Jeep Wrangler, when the Jeep Cherokee was out before it became a Grand Cherokee, and they whatchamacallit, it was like when you were driving a Jeep Cherokee, you knew you were not driving a car. It it was just different. It was definitely, most definitely not a vehicle, like a passenger vehicle, in the sense that it didn't behave like one. It behaved like a truck. Okay. You were able to go off road. Cool, cool, good stuff. So I was a fan of like the utilitarian era of that thing. It was just amazing. Now, we're done with C tier. Let's go to B tier. So just a recap. C tier for me is most of the Chevy and Ford product line. Not because they suck, just because they're not my first choice. Would they be my absolute last choice? They wouldn't be my last choice, but they would be kind of down there in terms of what I'm interested in. And you're gonna see B tier. B tier is something that will catch my attention and I'd look at for a little bit longer. B tier is basically Hyundai and Kia. I liked the Kia Stinger when it came out. I'm not as much of a fan of it anymore, but I did like that they actually reached and they had a really sporty thing. Hyundai, of course, I'm lumping the Genesis brand, the extremely luxury brand. Some of those cars are like really nice. In terms of like um, domestic, I think I've covered most of the domestics in the C tier, so it's not gonna be anything new. Other than Hyundai and Kia, I would say another B tier brand. What else? Nissan? No. Nissan's more C tier than B tier because I'm not a fan of the general direction that they've undertaken in terms of design. I mean, would I drive a Fairlady Z if somebody gave me the keys to it? Probably. Or a Skyline. I mean, let me put it to you this way. The Skyline basically automatically upgrades Nissan to B tier almost instantly. But in terms of the regular cars that I would probably buy if I chose to buy one, even in terms of like an SUV, it would probably be it wouldn't be that. Um I'm trying to think. Oh, oh, you know what? You know what B tier I would go for? I would probably go for a Toyota. Actually, you know what? No. I would go for B tier would be Honda, like a Honda Pilot or anything from like, Civic or Accord. And then basically Toyota's the next tier up. Now, what would I do in the A tier? The A tier would be Toyota. Virtually anything Toyota, period. Whether it's a Camry or it's like a little sporty hatchback, it would be Toyota. If it was an SUV, it would be Toyota. Now, um, if I was considering Toyota, it would either be because I was buying a Camry or like a sporty sedan or like a hatchback, or because I was going all in on like SUV and get like a like a big SUV to actually go off-roading in. But I think they are unibody, so I'm not sure how effective they would be as opposed to like say, the aforementioned Jeeps from before. So it's a toss-up. Oh, thank you for reminding me. The answer is always me. Okay, so you reminded me of two major things that I forgot about. One, Toyota makes the GT86, hashtag initial D, and Mazda is I think Mazda's definitely A tier because it gets me looking more than say Hyundai or like Kia. So I'd be tempted to get like a CX-5 or something if I was getting a Mazda, unless I was getting unless I was literally getting a really sporty car. I'm not even sure if they sell anything akin to the RX-8 in the States anymore. So I'm confused. But I think Mazda would sneak itself into the A tier. Hey, Nostalgic Rhino, welcome aboard. Thank you for stopping in today. Welcome. We are discussing my tier list of automobile manufacturers and things I would drive or be tempted to buy. One of the things I would probably buy in the A tier, like previously recommended, would be anything from the Toyota catalog, almost anything. Long live the rotary. Yes, that's right. That's right. If I was gonna buy a Mazda and I was able to buy a car for fun, it would probably be a Miata. I mean, I'd be sorely tempted to buy one at least. So there's that. But A tier is kind of like really domestic fun. Oh, sheesh. I mean, if I could hop into an RX-7, dude, that's like an undiscovered country of like performance. Now, strap yourselves in and guard your checkbooks closely because we're stepping into Digi's S tier. Digi's S tier includes Subaru. That probably didn't surprise you. For one, even like their crossover wagons have like sporty flavors. Subaru has the BRZ, and Subaru has the long time running, um, you know, WRX. What used to be called the Impreza, which they still have an Impreza, but I'm saying they separated WRX from that mark. And I think they still sell the STI as well. I could be wrong, but what am I trying to say? They have their stuff. If I was going to buy something and I had the ability to buy whatever I want, it would probably be a WRX immediately. I would also buy a big SUV for Mrs. DG. One of them. And let me think, what else? Well, that's Subaru. The Impreza is so versatile. The like it's been made into like an AMC Eagle with the Crosstrek. It's been made into a super sports car with the WRX STI, and the Outback is superb. I like the Outback so much. And let's see, like Subaru's basically established itself as a superpower in my book. The alternative is Acura. Ignore the NSX because I'd probably be tempted to drive one or at least take one for a test drive, clearly. I'm talking about their product line. Acura has somehow managed for me to make the crossover SUV look unbelievably amazing. Like the A line or the S line. Um oh, didn't come with CVT. I think that started happening once like 14, 15 happened because the Subarus that I've driven since then has CVT. Yeah, I was talking about Acura. Somehow they managed to make a crossover SUV look like a race car. And I'm talking about, like, for example, the RDX. The RDX is amazing. It looks cool. Whether that's the smaller one or the ADX is a smaller one, they look great. If we are talking about, you know what I forgot to include? I forgot to include European brands. Remember the aforementioned Alfa Romeo? It would probably be either S tier or definitely A tier. Audi, if I could afford one, would automatically be Audi would automatically be S tier. I would drive an Audi in a split second. I wouldn't drive a used Audi in a split second. I would drive a new one because used Audis, like used luxury car brands, are expensive to maintain. Making station wagons actually look cool. Book of Gaming, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Folks, my fellow brother in Christ and one of the hardest working Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to NES are video game players on the planet. Book of Gaming is with us. Feel free to go check out Book of Gaming in a new season of video gaming and Christian Fellowship. One of my favorite streamers to go to on Twitch. Definitely DG recommended. You really got to go check him in action. Ooh, Skoda. Let me think. Let me think. Skoda is probably going to be, if they're the company that I think they are, they're probably going to be A tier. You're welcome, book. Thank you. Got him. Oh man. Basically, I forgot about brands like what was I thinking about? Oh, well, I don't think Saab is in business anymore. But for example, um, Seat and Volkswagen. Volkswagen is definitely Volkswagen's more A tier simply because of the hatchback history with, like, the Golf and the even the Rabbit. I'm not so much a fan of the Volkswagen SUVs, but yeah, like I'm whatchamacallit. I'm more of a fan of like their hatchbacks and their sedans and the way they do the interiors, which is amazing. Let me think. Anybody else in S tier that I would purchase or dig into without hesitation? I'm trying to think. What other car brand is out there that I would really appreciate obtaining? Oh, brain is fuzzy because Sunday night, because thoughts. Actually, this is a good segue, book. Thank you for reminding me. I I would appreciate prayers for this week. I have a couple of interviews coming up for new job opportunities, but at the same time, it is as Yahweh Elohim would have for me. I want to do his will, but at the same time, if his will is gonna say something like, okay, dude, you're gonna go to a new job, then basically that's it. So I don't know. It's entirely possible that I'm going to stay where I am for even longer. And again, if that's the case, fine. I'm down. I don't mind that at all. but at the same time, if it's time for me to go somewhere else, it's time for me to go somewhere else. Yeah. So appreciate everybody's support, and I'll be praying and taking my time and figuring out what my next step is going to be. Uh, a temptation, of course, is, yeah, I got a new job. Let's go buy an Audi. Slow down, Slick. Take care of your business at home first. But definitely in terms of what am I trying to say? In terms of doing the deal, I'm I have a healthy level of nerves for this week coming up, and I did some studying this afternoon trying to figure out where I rank for upcoming interviews and whatnot. Houston, Texas. Company Audi? Ooh, I didn't know that was a perk. All right, where do I sign? I um I used to have someone I knew that was in on the west side of Texas, but they moved further west. They moved out. They didn't go to California. They just got shot. They landed in Arizona, but they lived in Texas for a while, and they told me often cost of living is like way down there. It's kind of like some places that I've seen. You know where cost of living isn't low? New Jersey. You're not going to get low cost of living there, especially not the northern parts. I spent time in New York City, and the prices are not cheap. Not cheap. Yeah, yeah, Texas cost of living is good. Nobody wants to live here. Oh man. Well, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Um, I would say I'm open to working virtually anywhere as long as they let me work remote and I only have to come into the office a few times, like, a year. If it's a position in, like, say, Arizona, for example, and they have me come in a couple times a year to meet with people and to do stuff, then that's fine. I'll tell Mrs. Digi, we'll hop a plane, we'll spend a weekend, checking out the sites, and then we'll fly back home. But more local things, since I'm more of a mid-Atlantic person and I live in bleep, um, you know, I, I like to stay as as close to my home as possible, especially since I take time to take care of Mrs. Digi. So remote work is what I'd like to do unless I have to start coming into the office a little bit more. And that's when commute time and travel to my job is definitely going to make a difference, a big impact on what I choose. New dream car identified. Uh, well, like I said before, to be completely transparent, even though I like sport luxury brands like Audi, and I certainly wouldn't mind driving a Alfa Romeo sports sedan or even their SUV if somebody gave it to me. I think it would be a cross between either buying a WRX, buying a Skyline, or buying a what is this? Buying a oh, like an I mean, I wouldn't be able to buy one new, but an RX-7, for example. So those are like up on like my S tier. There was a time when I was big on Chrysler, and for one reason, well, for a couple reasons, excuse me, but one of them was the Chrysler 300. When it became this big, like American, like, luxury icon, and I I liked it. I liked the Crossfire. I knew someone who had a Chrysler PT Cruiser, which looked amazing on the inside. I think what put me off of them was I was interested in a Chrysler Pacifica at one point, and what happened was the Pacifica had um, one of the issues the Pacifica had was apparently electrical problems. So I was like, I'm gonna pass on that. But I mean, it looked pretty, and it probably rode really nice. Chrysler for me, honestly, would have been B tier, but right on the top level of B tier. Because Chryslers are nice to look at, but with any kind of luxury brand that you buy, you're probably going to spend a little bit to a lot of money to maintain it. So that's one of the reasons why I think that's where it wound up for me. Now, let me expand the search to, car I would buy if I didn't care car. Or basically, if I said, this is the car I'm buying because I have the money to buy a car. Probably one of the tiny Porsche crossovers. But if I was buying a Porsche, I'd probably buy a 911 Targa. Now, would I buy the Porsche Panamera, the four-door Porsche? I think I would. I think I'd like it for the fact that it had four doors. But again, if I'm not going to be schlepping a lot of people around, why buy a four-door anything if I don't have to? Book. Um, this the whole Digi's uh, tier car list thing wasn't even a thought in my head until Cargo jumped in and said, "All right, car list, go." So I was like, "Well, okay, we're talking about them." So this is like the literal first night that I've actually thought about that kind of stuff. Believe it or not, I'm a big, big, big proponent of the old station wagon era. And if somebody says Chevy Caprice Classic wagon, that is instant nostalgia. Like instant nostalgia. Because I remember what the old Caprice Classic sedans looked like, the old squad cars in New York City. And I'm not talking about the curvy ones from like the mid 90s. I'm talking about the blocky ones from like the late 80s, 1990, 1991. Big gas guzzling American station wagon goodness, some of which were like wood paneled, some of which weren't. So yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You just, you just want one so you're looking for it. And I think a lot of people want that too, to be honest. And like for me, I'm past the point where I want something like that for status, but I see. And I was telling this to Cargo Fire on his stream recently, or not that long ago. I told Cargo Fire SUVs are this generation's station wagon. It's basically what we did. It's why you don't really see a resurgence. Oh, this Joy-Con is so sensitive. It's really why you don't see a resurgence of station wagons here, because basically, okay, the crossover, the mini SUV, and the SUV, they've kind of solved a few, I'm going to say, quandaries. You have a vehicle that sits higher up on the road, that a vehicle that sits higher up on the road that, I don't know, maybe looks a little intimidating, but also occasionally lets you go off road or do all the things. And then essentially what happens is you go from having a low to the ground car to having a somewhat higher off the ground car that also lets you feel different about driving. it's kind of like what happened, like AMC basically invented the hybrid, not the hybrid. AMC invented the crossover SUV all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive car segment when they created the AMC Eagle station wagon with four-wheel drive. They really made four-wheel drive a thing before even Subaru did in the mid to late 90s, which is amazing. Oh, yeah, I don't know exactly how accurate I am, but there's a fully either a fully electric or like a hybrid Mustang that looks like an SUV. So it's basically one of those things where you go, "Whoa, that's weird," but it exists. It exists. Mach E, yes, yes. So that's a thing. And of course, this recent generation of sporty vehicles, you have like the surgence or the resurgence of the sport utility vehicles, like the Jaguar F Pace, like the RS, or like the SRT, Dodges. Oh yeah, Dodge on my car tier list will probably be B tier, because even though I like the SRT Mark SUVs and stuff like that, they don't make the Dodge Viper anymore, and I don't know. Like I have mixed emotions about the Dodge lineup, but I mean I do like their uh, their pickup trucks. So again, high level B tier, high level B tier. But basically, that's what it's about for me. But in terms of the SUV and crossover thing, you know, it's SUVs are basically station wagons now. SUVs now are the station wagons of the past. There. Oh, what? Would I drive a fully electric car? The infrastructure would have to be there. The infrastructure would have to be there, and the use case would have to be there. Like, okay, if I lived within a 15-mile radius of literally everything that I needed, it would make sense to have an electric vehicle or even a hybrid. But I don't. So the infrastructure really isn't all set for me yet. And of course, life things with certain selections of electric vehicles, but we're not going to go into that. And mods, if any discussion starts getting political, you have my permission to politely just point it elsewhere. Not because I'm a curmudgeon with regards to people expressing themselves, but it's just because we don't talk about that stuff um, currently. And my sincere belief is I'm going to love you regardless of what your political affiliation is, because I look at your soul. And this isn't the forum for me to have questions or thoughts about stuff off the cuff. I would like to spend more time chewing the fat and figuring out what it is that I have to do to understand someone's perspective, even if I don't agree. I'm ducking to the map screen real quick because I want to find the next gas station. I think we'll make it to this intersection, so I think we should be fine. But wow, we made it through the night. The sun's coming back out. I would say buying an electric vehicle would make so much more sense to me if I lived in a place like LA, New York City, Miami, anywhere where like the literal 90+% of what I did was city bound, or the mileage that I did was literally no more than like 50 miles round trip, including the one you were driving. Hey, Maple, good to see you. Well, like I said, we will be civil. We will be civil. Um, but all the same, Maple, again, welcome. Good to see you. I would like to. Hey, listen, I'm going to take a sidebar. I would like to see way more competition in the fully electric car segment. To be honest, actually, actually, you know what I forgot? Subaru has a fully electric car, the Solterra. It looks weird, but I would probably be tempted to try one of those out on a lark just to see what it was like. Good to see you, man. All right, all right. Someone's coming up the road. Yes. Build build quality like Temu. Ooh, wow. Throw me a bone. I want to know what's wrong with the build quality, because if it's not good build quality, then we're not going to go there. All right. Looking for the gas station. We should make it. There it is. Yeah, I forgot that Subaru made an all electric car. I don't know if Toyota. Well, no, no. I mean, at least even the Prius, when I remember it, was a hybrid. So I don't know that they have a fully electric car. Nissan has a fully electric car, the Leaf. So that's that. But I think, what am I? No, there's another company. Isn't there a company called? Is the car name Riven, or is the company Riven that actually has like that weird looking SUV or pickup truck, whatever it is? There's a couple of companies out there. Yeah, I would like to see more competition in the space, because clearly that's going to uh, benefit the consumer. Company Rivian. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Maple. Um, Duly noted. Pretty big bone. For having something properly assembled would be a very good idea. I mean, not that any company is immune from that. I'm going to go ahead and put it that way, but at the same time, I would have assumed something like that would have been caught during quality assurance. I guess that didn't happen. Yeah, yeah. I can see how that would make anybody apprehensive. I can see that. I hear you. Oh, okay. So literally Temu interior. I'll be looking for that. Speaking of Subaru, somebody got pulled over. Whoopsies. Wow, literally, I'm almost done with this haul. I didn't know it didn't have a, well, no, I didn't know that it didn't have anything in front of you to show you what your speed was. That I think would take a lot of getting used to for me. That would. Come on, Crafton, be nice. On a Model X. Oh, I see. I see. That's how they get you to go. Oh man. Well, yeah, yeah. Strange for sure. That would take me a long time to get used to. I would have to either jerry rig something or just learn to distinguish certain shapes for certain speed levels. Well, that's interesting. All right, so we literally have something approaching 7 minutes left IRL, and we're going to get to our destination relatively shortly. You literally cannot coast. Oh, right, right. Um, so aggressive regenerative braking. Yeah, the whole single gas pedal thing. It's another thing that I have to get used to. So yeah, yeah, I can see that. Oh, and also I think Hyundai has one or two, and so did Toyota at one point. But the short one's even more strange. Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's it's a world that I feel maybe needs more time in the oven. I mean, at least the charging infrastructure does. When we get to the point where charging is like literally ubiquitous with a supercharging station or like a car manufacturer agnostic charger at every gas station, that's when I think you're going to start breaking down barriers and people are going to like adopt electric more. Or we're going to innovate and we're going to come out with like, I don't know, heavy water or like fuel cell, not fuel cell, um, H2 motors that basically, the emissions are literally water. Yeah, that's disappointing. It'll be interesting. I'm going to keep my eyes on that, to be honest, because I think I slept on electric for a long time. I might actually start paying attention to that again. We got like probably another 3 or 4 miles to go, so I can go left lane here. Or I was going to go left lane. You're not going that fast, and you are. No, you're gonna speed up. Hybrids, I guess, are the last frontier in terms of having the oomph you need, along with also being more efficient. I mean, what am I gonna tell you? I've been on the other side of that, and now I'm more like, man, I was not driving well as a kid. I need to respect tractor trailers way more. The problem is when you aren't in a mega city. Hello, thank you so much. Because when you don't have the infrastructure to support an electric car, you're going to run into problems with range. It's not going to be the kind of thing that you are going to be able to easily pull off. So yes, I can see that. Very nice. Very nice. I have some cooling, approaching cold coffee in my lap right now. I wasn't gonna go third cup today, but I just felt so run down. So I said, let's hit it. Yes, sir. And Maple, I'm waiting to get my first PSL in for the season. They're probably gonna start dropping them like in the middle of next month. I'm a bit of a PSL fan, but at the same time, I like over 90% of the coffee that I drink is black, straight up black. Um, if I'm traveling and I'm drinking coffee and somebody says tea, like cream and sugar, I'll say yes every time. If I make my own coffee on the road, then it's gonna be black. You crazy? I I grew up actually having milk with coffee in it, but at the same time, I I just you know what happened to me, Maple? As I started working more and more jobs, and I started actually drinking coffee on a regular basis. I would put like cream and sugar and stuff in it, and I just got to a point where my body just said, dude, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm like, keep going, just drink the coffee black. And I got used to the flavor, and it did not. It stopped being this major problem for me. Like I don't even put sugar in my coffee. I just drink it straight up. But occasionally I will put milk in my coffee. It's not like I go milk, ew. No. It's cool. Occasionally I like slap a creamer in there, but in general I drink black. I like a little coffee with my cream. Let's go. Nice. Um, there's so many options to choose from in terms of actually having creamers these days to avoid all the empty calories. Nice, nice. Good stream. Digi card tier list and coffee selections. Let's go. But again, thanks so much, guys, for coming alongside today. We are apparently coming down to the end of our second delivery. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time for a third. It's possible. I guess it depends on what's going on right now. It's past 8, so I'm probably going to call it here unless I go up front real quick and just check in on Mrs. Digi, and she says she has like another like half an hour or something. If she does, then we might sneak a real quick like run in here or something. Fort Stockton, man, you fast, bro. What if you just did off-roading? Oh, I'd be tempted to, dude. Actually, actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Crafton, great to see you, my friend. God bless the rest of your day. I hope you do well. Take care, my friend. I guess I might go external camera just to be able to figure out where to go in terms of like either off-roading or finding unknown shortcuts. So give me a moment to sink this coffee. There we go. Third cup down. Didn't have much left anyway. Okay. All right. I don't care about XP, so that's fine. I'm like almost halfway through level 32. Let's see what we can find real quick. Man, made a good amount of money the past two jobs. All right. I'm not sure if we're gonna find much in the way of off-roading, but let's see. We just came in. We just came in from like Missouri to Fort Stockton, and We are way outside of San Antonio and San Angelo. Let's see what we can find down here. Ooh, mint chocolate chip. Nice. Let's explore for a bit, shall we? Look at that. New passage immediately. Dude. Maple, gold star for today, my friend. You literally just told me to go explore, and look at that. We just got to a hidden section. Gold star, my friend. Well, I mean it helps if what you have to do for a living dictates at least part of your diet. People need to listen to you more, including me. Thank you, friend. So, where does this road go to? Oh, hold on. Stand by. Gotta get my cat. Every once in a while, my cat catches me sleeping, and he goes to like chew on like plastic that my wife leaves around. Maple, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I feel like there's certain practices with regards to food consumption in my beautiful country that we could probably do without. Like, for example, eating a lot of sugar. Like, I'm not talking about like, putting an extra 2 or 3 scoops in like your coffee. I'm saying the wild amount of sugar that's in stuff like certain kinds of soda or certain drinks. So, like I've seen stuff, excuse me, I've heard of stuff that's potentially going to happen soon. I'd like to see it happen to make the things that we eat healthier, but we'll see, man. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Like it's not to put it another way, I don't drink a lot of sweeteners to begin with, so it's not like it's going to be an issue for me. Let's see, which way should I go? Let's go this way. I feel like that road's going to run out faster anyway. I think this is like an off-road shoulder. Look at that. Turn around slowly here, lest I hit a wall of jello. Well, I will say, with my, you know, chronological existence, I am trying to eat better. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen like all the documentaries and stuff, but yeah, yeah. It. I'm not. I'm not 100% shielded from the discussions or the topics of like sugar intake, the chemical additives, all that stuff. It's crossed my radar in the past, so I've thought about it. I've thought about it. It's actually been a topic of discussion amongst people in my circles. So it's definitely not something that I haven't not paid attention to before. I kind of see that, like the deal with trying to figure out, not trying to figure out, what am I trying to say? The deal with, like people buy stuff because it's there, but it's there because people buy stuff. You know, like They know they can sell like huge bags of chips because they know people are going to buy them, and people are going to buy them because they're there. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. We're all on board with that. So I see that. I definitely see that. I feel like the change begins with me personally and with my desire to do better as a consumer of food and of goods and services. So it's both a personal choice and just a real world application of wisdom. And what happens happens, and whoever listens listens, and whoever doesn't want to listen, they don't have to. It's their choice. Now that's interesting. So this is where the road ends. Yep, I get it. So this is actually kind of cool. Let me see if the road goes any further down that way. And then that probably is going to wrap it up for me for today. But not bad. We were in Iowa, we went to Missouri, and then we went all the way from Missouri down to like southwestern Texas. We hauled quite a bit today, friends. So, really appreciate everybody that stopped by today and said hello. I am now off roading on the very astute recommendation coming from Maple Aviation. Thank you again, friend. Really appreciate that. And apparently, they like making stuff like this happen, which is kind of neat, honestly. But let me see. This is, what is this? Is this eastbound? No, this is westbound. I'm still westbound. That's kind of cool. Oh, wait. Let me see where this other road goes. I wanna finish that loop, and then that'll probably do it for me. Nice freight train. I haven't seen people driving in it, but I know it exists. Are you talking about Pro Mods? Because Pro Mods has Canada. Or if all it is a map expansion, I'd be very interested to download and try it out. It might be one of those things where I have to create a new profile and start over, but I wouldn't mind it because that's what I did for Japan anyway. Yeah, I would be interested to learn more about that. I might go check that out. In fact, I am curious. Nice. That'd be a nice change. Pro Mods Canada. There we go. There we go. They that franchise is is pretty up there in terms of attention to detail, or so I've heard. Not bad. A little bit of exploration today. I'm happy with this. 75 miles an hour in an unnamed road in the middle of Texas. Nice. Okay, that's closed. That's where we went in. Let's go back to the gas station and wrap it up there. So, folks, normally during the week, if I'm streaming, it's going to be quiet scenery development, which means you'll see me either working in Flight Simulator or in Blender working on scenery objects. Generally, as long as I'm having an okay day work wise in terms of IRL stuff, I'm going to be on for probably just about, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes to an hour. Usually the weekends are way more likely that I'll be doing stuff like this. And I will occasionally dabble in a flight, but this season right now, I'm trying to make more about doing scenery development. So I would like to I would like to do more with that. And I'm shooting for that to build airports or to basically do stuff like that. But the first thing I want to do is have fun and do that while I'm also taking care of some other stuff in my life at the moment. Thank you, Kev. Um, Appreciate you and appreciate the community as a whole. Thanks so much for stopping in. Thank you so much to everybody that stopped in today and said hello. I am probably going to work on grabbing a bite to eat at this point, and then most likely maybe messing around with some Raspberry Pi stuff tonight, and probably doing something special with it this week. I'm trying to be, like the kind of nerd that I was, and just enjoy time messing around with some of the tech. Take a screenshot. Plaster and Sons. Nice. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate having you here. I'm going to go ahead and call it. And like I like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus Christ. I think I'm going to try to do scenery dev tomorrow night, probably kicking off between 9:30, 10, something like that, depending on when I wrap up with everything. It's going to be like maybe 40, 45-minute stream. Like I said, either in Blender or in the SDK in the flight sim. And next talkie stream will probably be next weekend, unless I'm doing something. It will probably either be Friday or maybe Sunday again, like I used to do. But stay tuned. So much love to everybody here. Thank you so much for stopping in today. Appreciate all of you. Until next time, my friends. Take care. Bye.